And this week on Moving Montes, we cut up too much vegetables for the pot!
Yummy!
Oh no!
Yummy!
After leaving Rome, we drove a long way to Lake Bolsena. We stayed there for one night and then started driving to Gimignano. Gimignano is a walled town surrounded by 3 canyons. I thought it was amazing because it was full of narrow alleyways to explore. I also thought it was magnificent because there were some stunning views out over the tower walls.
Buy this today. Keep these motorhome food back.
Yeah, look at that. Pink onion, radish. Look how much he loves it. Eat it, Daniel. Oh, eat it. You're loving that.
His face is red.
Loving it. Come on.
Nothing better than a salad sandwich.
Nothing better than a 500 salad sandwich.
Oh, go, Daniel. Go, Daniel. Show us how much you love it. Oh, yeah.
I'm so sick of salad sandwiches. We have them every day and sometimes I just want a good old peanut butter sandwich. Anyway, we walked down to the thermal hot springs of Cascade del Molino. The temperature was about 37 degrees. We left the thermal hot pools and drove to a very pleasant spot on the northern side of the massive Lago di Bolsena.
We drove to a nice town called Orveito and we took our guitars to do some busking. We found the cathedral and it looked like it was made out of candy canes. There were mosaic twisting pillars covered in little pieces of shiny pottery. How much is that?
That's, I don't know.
10. Just put it back.
No. I'm getting a pile of the useful kit. So we got 3 twos here. So what? Yeah.
So, 9, 10. Okay, there's 10.
Alright, guys, we've had the count up from the busking this afternoon. Girls, what'd you get?
45.38.
Okay, and what do you boys get?
81.66.
Jeez, that's not bad for less than an hour's work, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, Manda!
What's happening, Ashley?
Oh, I'm waiting!
Curry cooking.
Hey!
Hi, team! What are we doing?
Hangman! You must have been hung!
Hangman!
Oh, which one can you be?
Oh, right now we're playing Hangman.
And I guessed the whole word before we even started.
What was the word, Matthew? Testicle?
No, it was ram, bun,
Oh, rambunctious! And this week, Daniel eats cauliflower. Broccoli.
Oh,
no.
it's the jump one,
Quick, somebody call the ambulance. Daniel's eating broccoli. Oh my god.
I don't know.
Well, you got to stay, Carmel.
We just had a very peaceful night parked down here by this water reservoir in Tuscany. Probably about an hour's drive from Assisi. Doing a bit of school now before we get going.
We went for a walk to Assisi and found it very quiet. The streets were cobbled and there were lots of priests and nuns around. Assisi is famous for its medieval architecture. It is also famous for the church of St. Francis, who was born and buried there. He is known as the saint of care for the sick and animals. It was a really nice town.
It allows something to happen. Okay? So a facilitator is someone that makes things happen, coordinates things. If you facilitate something,
How's your project going?
Initiator, an initiator is a person who might come up with an idea and go, you know what?
Is that how you're doing your work today, is it?
I'm going to initiate the process.
We arrived at San Feliciano and walked through the gate with its Roman writing on the entrance. We walked through the underground streets in the old city and explored some more of the rooms. After a little bit more wandering, we did some busking. It was quite busy and noisy, and while Daniel and I were busking, some old grannies came walking down the street with rap music playing.
On your marks, get set, go.
Go, Ashley! Go, Ashley!
In Sienna, we went for a walk into the centre of town, where every year they hold their famous bareback horse race around the central square. We walked along the cobbled streets for a while before finding a spot to busk. A few songs through, a policeman came and said that we couldn't busk because we were under 18.
We drove from Sienna to a town called San Gimignano, which is famous for all its towers around the town. It was Halloween and it was so misty and foggy. We bought some umbrellas and I got myself a new Swiss Army knife.
Now the trick-or-treaters won't be out.
Where are you?
Florence.
Florence?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
After finding a safe place to park the motorhome, we set off for a walk in Florence. Florence is a city in central Italy and the capital city of the Tuscany region. It is the most populated city in Tuscany with 441,000 residents. Florence was the centre of medieval European trade and finance and one of the wealthiest cities of that era. The city attracts millions of tourists each year.
Oh, we've just left Florence and doing an hour and a half's drive up towards a town called Lucca. Now the weather's closed in and it's pretty mucky now. So we've got into Lucca and we've just discovered that there's quite a big event on at the moment. All the streets are blocked off and there's heaps of people everywhere and something to do with some comic thing or something, comics and games festival or something. So we're going to go and have a look.
Man, I want to be a policeman in Italy and drive that thing. But anyway, this was complete madness. There must have been over 1 million people here.
Where are you?
The Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Oh, right, state the obvious.
Even though it was raining in Pisa, we walked to the famous Leaning Tower. It was on a 4-degree lean, and this is because it has an unstable foundation. It was made in the 12th century, and there was some controversy surrounding the identity of the architect. It's about 56 metres high and has 296 steps from top to bottom.
Well, it's proper autumn now. We're just wandering around Pisa, heading back to the car after one of our storm stomps. A bit wet. We're just up on the hill above La Spezia and looking down on a naval base down there, and we've just seen that there's a submarine leaving through the breakwater. Just heading off on our walk down to the Cinque Terre village of Rigiamori or something.
We walked down the track and into the town. Dad said we would have jelly legs when we got back to the motorhome because the steps were really steep. We arrived at where the boats haul out into the sea and saw that there were about 5-metre waves crashing over the seawall. We wanted to go for a walk to the next town, but the track was blocked because of the storm. We left Cinque Terre and started driving to our friends in Antibes while it was getting dark. We wound our way along the coast and then stopped for the night. We kept driving slowly along the windy coast roads of the Italian Riviera to the Parry McEwens in Antibes.